today with Itd Academy, and in this session we're going to be talking about industry terms. And so industry terms and definitions basically help anybody that's going into the industry and that's in the industry to better communicate, because that's the key component when making everything go in logistics, okay, is communication. All right, so our first term is going to be backhaul, and backhaul is a return load. And so I'll give you an example of a backhaul. An example of a backhaul would be a carrier calling me, the dispatcher, and saying, well, I want a backhaul because I have an emergency. All right, so a backhaul would be, going back to the carrier's home base. So if that carrier is located in Tampa Bay, Florida, then you would want to, me as the dispatcher would probably want to get them back headed toward Florida. Okay, so that's term number one, which is backhaul, or a return load. And so moving forward, we're going to be going on to bobtail. And a bobtail is the tractor operating without a trailer. So bobtail, another term that is used in the industry for just a tractor with no trailer, is a power only. So if you get a call when you're dispatching, and you're saying, well, what type of equipment do you have? And the carrier says, I'm power only. So when he says I'm power only, that means he just has a tractor, no trailer. Okay. All right, so moving forward, term number 3 for our terms and definitions is BOL. So the BOL is very important, okay? So the BOL, after each load is delivered, the BOL should be, signed and returned, and the freight broker requests the bill of lading, so for payment. So you've got to have your BOL. And so that BOL, as I said, is bill of lading, and it's the receipt of freight services between a carrier and a shipper. All right, the bill of lading is a legally binding document providing the driver and the carrier all the details needed to process the freight shipments and invoice it correctly. So, during this time, you definitely, especially after the load is delivered with your carrier, you want to go ahead and request that bill of lading if you're doing invoicing, back office support for that carrier. All right, and that's BOL, bill of lading. All right, and so let's see here, broker. So we've got a freight broker, and a freight broker is a company that arranges for the truck transportation of cargo belonging to others, utilizing for-hire carriers to provide the actual truck transportation. Okay. So a broker arranges the transportation. So the broker and the shipper have a relationship, and the broker finds a carrier to get those loads out on time, so the shipper doesn't really have to worry about doing all of that work. Okay, and so that's what a broker does: arranges the truck transportation of cargo. So if you get a call and it's a broker, and so you're going to be talking to brokers all the time, cold calling brokers, calling brokers on behalf of your carrier, things like that. So broker. All right, next one, CDL. All right, in the trucking industry, the CDL is very important to the carrier, uh, the motor carrier. Reason being, it's the driver's license which permits the driver to operate the tractor. Okay, um, usually over a GVW of over 26,000 pound vehicle. Okay, that's what your CDL uh, gives you the power to operate. 26,000 pounds or greater. All right. And so moving forward, we've got carrier. And so what a carrier is the carrier is the person who picks up and delivers the freight. Okay. It's carriers in the business of transporting goods and services via tractor trailer. All right, so that's what a carrier is. And so we've got let's move forward. We've got check call. Now there's many terms that they can use for this. Call in. Check up. Things like this, but usually a check call is a call by either the dispatcher or someone in the dispatcher's firm that kind of initiates communication between the carrier and the dispatcher and helps to inform the process of what's going on, the progress of what's going on with the shipment. So, that's one of the daily routines for dispatchers to call them, the carrier, see what's going on, how are you doing, where are you, do you need any type of assistance, did you get any fuel, when are you going to be delivering, things like that. So that way, everybody's on the same page, okay? And I'll give you an example why a check call is so important. And so, say, the next day you schedule the appointment and then you call the carrier, and the carrier says, well, you know what, my truck broke down on the side of the road, So knowing those things, like, okay, the truck's broke down, now okay, I'm informed on the breakdown. What do I need to do to get this load where it needs to be? Or assist the carrier in getting the truck fixed, whichever needs to be done first. So these check calls will keep you informed on what's going on with the load. Just in case you get any calls from the broker and things like that, you can go ahead and let them know, hey, this is what's going on, okay? Next one be claim. And a claim is a demand made upon a transportation line for payment on account of loss of damage alleged to have occurred while a shipment was in possession of the carrier, okay? So they call these insurance claims, and so it's God forbid you ever have to file a claim, but it does happen in the industry where something happens. Maybe if you have a reefer out there going, the reefer breaks down and it had nothing but ice cream in there, and the temperature went too high and all the ice cream melted. So now there's going to be a claim filed on that freight, and so that's where the claim comes in, okay? Commodity. A commodity is defined as a tangible good that can be bought and sold or exchanged for products of similar value, okay? Natural resources, oils, steel. There's a lot of different commodities that are being shipped, okay? So, You just got to be familiar that there are a lot of different commodities out there. I'll give you some examples. Electronics is a commodity. I stated one earlier. Ice cream is a commodity. Bricks is a commodity. Doorknobs. So all these different commodities are out there. So, and it's important, because if they ask, if when you're talking to brokers and they're trying to, negotiate, what's the commodity? You ask them what's the commodity, and they'll tell you, okay, well it's ice cream, and they'll help you understand. You say, well, you know what, we don't. If you don't have a reefer, you definitely don't want to take that load. Okay, so know your commodities as well in this industry. All right, moving forward, we have consignee, and that's the receiver who accepts your delivery. All right, so if we go from point A to point B, it would be point B where it's going to be delivered. So that's the consignor right there. All right, and so let's go to the next one there. Let's talk about reefer. What is a reefer? So in the industry, you'll hear about reefers, dry vans, step decks, things like that. Those are types of trailers, okay? And a reefer is a refrigerated trailer. Reefer. All right, so those of y'all didn't know what a reefer was, and I was saying, so a reefer is refrigerated. So you would definitely, if you had a commodity such as ice cream, it would be trailered by a reefer so it could stay cool during transport. All right, so next one we're going to go over is dry van. All right, and this is the opposite end of reefer, and a dry van is a basic trailer, and they're usually 53 feet, and it just has, some have rolled up doors, some have swing doors, but they come in different variations. But usually, you would ship your electronics in there, you'd ship your your dry goods, canned goods, things like that don't need refrigeration. Even hazardous materials are shipped in dry vans. Okay, so that's one term there, dry van. So, all right. And so in the dry van, our next term is called dry freight. And so in dry vans, you would have dry freight. And dry freight is freight that is not refrigerated. Okay, freight that's not refrigerated. All right. Next one is flatbed. And so this is another piece of equipment, and it's a trailer, and it's a semi-trailer with no sides. All right, semi-trailer with no sides. So a flatbed, you see them all the time driving down the highway. They're the trailers with they're carrying like the pieces of equipment. Some flatbeds, they carry like big windmills on there, and those are specialty flatbeds that carry those big windmill pieces on there that are really huge. So they get pretty big, but usually they're you've got the 53 footers, things like that. So there's different sizes of them, and similar goosenecks are similar to those. It's another type of trailer that you would use to transport equipment, transport heavy loads, tractor, you can actually transport another tractor trailers on those goosenecks and flatbeds. Also, you could transport, heavy equipment like dozers, things like that. Okay. Next one would be GVW. Gross vehicle weight, the total weight of a vehicle, the vehicle's weight and the contents of the trailer and tractor. So, GVW want to know what the GVW is. So, That way, if you're negotiating rates or you're talking to a broker and the broker says, well, will she scale? They'll usually ask you, you ask that, will it scale? Ask them how much does it weigh, so okay, will the type of equipment that my carrier has, will this work for this load that this broker has? Okay, so GVWs and things like that all go hand in hand. All right, hours of service is our next one. Hours of service, these are important regulations that are issued by the FMCSA. All right, and the hours of service regulates how long a driver can drive during a certain time. All right, and we go deeper in that in the training with Itd Academy. So if you've signed up or haven't signed up yet, go to itdacademy.org and definitely check out our courses. They have individual courses, and also they have the whole complete course. Individual courses are cheaper; they're only $59, depending on what you want. You could just individually choose, but if you prefer, you can just get the whole course. And the whole course basically, has all of the individual courses in one. Okay, so you get a lot of savings just getting the whole course. So let's go on. Shipper is the exporter or seller named on the bill of lading as the party responsible for initiating a shipment. Okay, so that's the initiator of the shipment, is the shipper. And let's see here. If you hear a rig, then you know that's a tractor. That's a tractor trailer, a semi-trailer, a rig. All right. And so I think those are some major ones that I wanted to get you to learn and know when you're in the industry. There's a lot more, but like I said, you'd probably want to get the course through Itd Academy. Check that out. You'll learn a lot. But again, thank you for joining me today with Itd Academy, and you have a good one.